What up? Welcome to the Rip City Pod. I'm Eric Anderson. I'm the host of this esteemed pod, and I'm a writer at heavy.com. Today we've got a huge guest. I mean, he is the guest.
Not that big.
He's, well, yeah, just wait till this intro. He's the king of the keyboard. He's a titan of Twitter. He's a podcasting pugilist. He's the Alaskan assassin. Some might say he's the heart and soul of the Little Cutie Hockey Club. And of course, he is the creator of the I-5 Corridor. We have Tyson Alger on the pod.
That introduction was almost worth doing all of this for the last 4 or 5 years. It was all a setup just to be able to have a good pal of mine run his own offshoot podcast on the corridor, to have me come on Bill Simmons style and intro me like that. Like, it's all paid off finally. How you doing, man?
Good. We can't pay you in money. We pay you in experience and in additional titles.
Oh, and I've been using that line for years, the last 4 years building this thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good opportunity for us to jump into like a little bit of a background check on the I-5 corridor and hear a little bit of the origin story. I know you've probably told this story to friends, and I know it, and maybe even you've podcasted a little bit about it. But since we're pretty fresh with the Rip City version of the I-5 corridor, let's
Right.
let's take a step back and hear a little bit about how this whole thing came to be.
Yeah, so initially I started the corridor in 2021. I had left my job at the Athletic, took like a month off. That included a meeting of minds in Salt Lake City with you, Brooks and Taylor, and it was kind of after that. It was after that where I was like, boy, I need to get back to work. Like I can't just be hanging with these guys all the time. And so I launched the corridor then, and at the time it was just kind of more than anything a place for me to continue my writing. And so I continued doing my Oregon Ducks coverage, which I've been doing for 10 plus years here in the state. I started to incorporate some Timbers, some Oregon State, just kind of after years of only being able to write about Oregon Ducks, like it kind of allowed me to like still do that, but kind of do some of those for me type of stories. And fortunately, I was able to do that for 4 years and build an audience. And just before the start of this football season, I was approached by Lookout Eugene Springfield. I got the merch on today.
Company man.
And they were launching a lot Ducks coverage, and basically they gave me the opportunity to go do that for them, and it was a great opportunity for me, and it gave me some stability in my career and all those sorts of things. But the perk of it though was they weren't going to make me shut down the corridor. It just had to kind of evolve into whatever it was going to become next, when it wasn't going to be just Ducks football coverage. And so over the last year, myself and Justin Myers, we've been hosting the I-5 Corridor Traffic Report podcast, and we've seen really great growth on that, and we've had a lot of fun with it. And it's still largely like Ducks coverage, but um, we've always just kind of thought that, like, why I I'm fortunate enough in my career that I've met a lot of people that are pretty good experts in the industry, and knowledgeable in what they do. Um, and I was just like, boy, like, why not do a Blazers podcast? And it's something that you and I had always kind of like loosely talked about, but um, it was just with kind of the flexibility I have with the new company and wanting to build the corridor into something, like we kind of have like our featured Ducks podcast, but we're like, you know what, let's expand this into Blazers potentially. And it's been awesome to see you grow from standard definition to high definition, like literally in like the 4 or 5 episodes you've done so far. But yeah, like I don't know exactly what it is right now, but it's still something, and in terms of what the corridor is and what it can turn into. But right now I think it's just a place where you can, I'm still doing Timbers coverage there, but I think more than anything I wanted it to be kind of like the center for where you go for when you want to listen to or learn about the teams in the state. You can still find some quality content.
Yeah, and that's a
Did,
pretty good
did that sound like
tease.
did that sound like a good business like does it sound like I know what I'm talking about here? Because really I don't know what the corridor is anymore, Eric, but I'm having fun with it. So
Can you still spell the word corridor?
we'll get
It's
to that
behind you. It's
later.
behind you.
Yeah, 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 guys, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you took me out for a business lunch and we were probably on like cocktail number two, I would be investing.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Uh,
So like $10 or so. Like maybe
well, whatever.
I can get you to finally buy a subscription.
Okay, I've been a subscriber for I don't know how long. You
I
can
know.
probably check. It's probably not as long as I should have been, but
Yeah.
I have a little bit of street credit there.
But so the thing when I launched the corridor, like I wanted to do more Blazers initially when it started, but like the launch of the corridor has just coincided with kind of a pretty fair to say dark period for the Blazers. Like it was just kind of like it was around Dame leaving and the whole Jody era, and kind of they just felt like listless a bit, and so it was hard for me to like pick my lane to decide how to invest my time into it, especially when it didn't seem like it had um a whole lot of momentum going for it. But now here, like it does seem like this team, like yeah, they have a winning record right now. That might be a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but it does feel like that there is like a foundation around this Blazers team, and there's actually like reason to kind of like get excited and learn about these guys.
Totally. Yeah, right now um is a pretty good time to get in on it. And there's a few examples over the last like 2 years of teams having these like really solid October, November stretches. The example that always sticks out in my head is the Jazz were a top four team like 2 years ago or 3 years ago with largely the same like rebuilding process, just kind of a bunch of random pieces. Lauri Markkanen he was there already, but they were just killing people. Like they were a top four team in the West, and people went like, "Wow, I guess the Jazz aren't tanking." And the rest of the season was just like right back down. So I don't think the Blazers will do that, but it has been surprising. I haven't actually done the projections to see like where they would hit on their win total, but they're
Right.
obviously ahead of where they were pegged to be as like a 30 some win team. Like if they continue this trend, they'd probably be in the 40-ish range, 40 win range. So that's exciting enough. And I've done a little bit of this. I think in the last pod, we're looking back and seeing like every Blazers loss so far has been competitive. And at this point last year, they had already like tallied up a 20, 30 point loss. Like they'd already
Dude,
had one of those games.
and so that's the thing for me with the Blazers, because I'm not as big of a like I love the NBA. I'm not as invested in it as you are. And my relationship with the Blazers was I grew up probably more of a Sonics fan because I've always kind of leaned Seattle stuff. But then you move to a city and it's the main professional sport here. Like you want them to be good and you want to like follow along. And I got so into it during those kind of the playoff run years, and then obviously going to the
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals. But like lately, like I go to 2 to 3 games a year, and like the last two that I've gone to, like the last 2 years, it's been like 30-40 point losses, and it's just like, man, like this is hard for me to like invest my money in as just kind of like a casual fan. And so
Yeah.
I think that's important that even like when they are losing games this year, like it's probably worth the price of admission at least.
So far they've all
Yeah.
been competitive. They've been kind of like there's been some weird things and some kind of unlucky breaks for losses, but nothing that you just go, wow, this team's bad, or like this team's not trying, or you start wondering like what's going on with the coaching staff. You start wondering if there's like some development plan in place that the win loss column doesn't even matter anymore. So far you haven't really seen that. And I don't know. Yeah, it could just be a little hype train behind Tiago Splitter, and maybe the rest of the coaches will figure him out, and maybe that things will take a tough turn. But so far, it's been really fun, like
But
refreshingly fun.
like how we all know how like this news cycle could have gone with like the Chauncey thing, and you get the interim coach, and if they would have gone on to lose like 5 of their next 6 games or something, like that would have been understandable considering the circumstances. But also like it would have just been it would have been such a drag of a news cycle, and for them to just kind of like, okay, like the Chauncey stuff, which is still one of the most ridiculous stories that like we've ever encountered in this,
Yeah,
kind of feels like it was a couple weeks ago news. People aren't talking about it so much. It's just like, okay, cool. Like it's stable waters for the Blazers. I've been covering too much soccer. I was about to say Timbers, but it's stable waters for the Blazers.
yeah. The focus is on basketball. It's on development of like a young Hanson's storyline is still really interesting, but it's watching still a very young team do some pretty incredible stuff. Like I guess there are a few older players on the roster as well, but
Oh,
um
Give me like the 30-second catch up on Hanson's season. Like, where's he at?
He's disappeared from playtime. He like the last 3 or 4 games, he's DMPs, but he'll be playing in the G League this weekend. So there'll be game film of him probably playing 30 some minutes, and you'll actually see him doing a lot more than he was. His first few games with the Blazers, he was kind of playing the like 10 minute to maybe he got up to 15. I can't quite remember, but
Right,
he was playing a backup center role and he really didn't have much of a leash to make a mistake. So once
right.
once he turned the ball over once or twice, he kind of saw he didn't lose his confidence, but you could see the Blazers lose like a little bit of confidence in him because I think for him to be who he's supposed to be, he has to have the ball a lot and he has to make a lot of choices. And you can't really afford to make that many mistakes with a young player when you're trying to win games. So
That it's fascinating, and just like the parallel down in Eugene, they got Wei Lin, who came in as the Chinese Basketball Association All Star, and he's been kind of implemented into the Ducks lineup. And it's the same thing. Like, this dude was scoring 22 points a game last year, but he's not going to be the primary ball handler because you have Jackson Shelstad doing that. And so, like, you've seen like a mixture of like him forcing some shots and like his shots aren't hitting. And so like it's just kind of been like a bad spiral. And he was really flashy during some of the exhibition games, but like at this point, like you've kind of seen his minutes start to decrease a little bit. And I don't know. I think there's probably a little bit of an adjustment coming over to the American game a bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's there's cultural barriers, there's play style barriers. I don't actually know what Asian basketball leagues typically play like. Like we hear so much about like European styles and
Right.
the international game, and maybe Asia follows that a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if it's
I
more
need
resembling of American basketball or if it's its own thing.
I've been meaning to get in touch with former Oregon guard Joe Young for a story, because
Mm,
he, after he was drafted by the Pacers and played a couple of years in the league, but then he went and basically played 5 to 6 years in China, and like 4 of those years were on the team that Wei Lin was playing for. Not at the same time, but I think it'd be a good kind of talk to him and see like the comparative levels. Also consider, like, I'm pretty sure Joe Young scored like 93 points in a game in that league, so take that for what it's worth. Joe could get as hot as anybody, but also he's like a 6'2", 6'3" guard who shouldn't be scoring 93 points a game.
yeah, that just sounds like some Jimmer Fredette stuff. Sounds like
Yeah, yeah,
some like
exactly.
Stephon Marbury going to China stuff where you're like, oh, it's averaging 40 points a game. That seems normal
Yeah.
somehow.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
so oh, I was gonna say, answer this question for me.
Okay,
Uh, you live in Helena, Montana. You've lived in
correct.
Portland, Oregon. We got to know each other working together at the Oregonian in Portland, Oregon. You've been a Blazers fan or like Blazers adjacent your entire life.
Hmm.
How did you get into the Blazers? And what would childhood Blazers fan Eric like about this year's Blazers team?
Yeah, somehow at a basketball camp in Helena, Montana, when I was in 8th grade, I won a poster. So you could pick the prize, and I was like, oh, I want the poster. And it was a poster of, I think, the 2001 Blazers team. So it's like Sabonis, Pippen, Rashid, like all these guys that are like Blazers legends. Some to very hot, like burning star kind of star power, and others like Rashid was there for a while. Rashid was a
Yeah,
he,
yeah.
he was he was a big part of that team. So I was given this poster and I just like kind of like loved it. It was like a thing I won and I started tracking it. So then all of a sudden, and the Blazers were really good then too, right? Like they're battling the Lakers every single year and um yeah, they just kind of fell in love with that team and what they were able to do. And I think for all of us millennials who were born, 80s and 90s, and we were beaten over the head with the Bulls.
Hmm.
Um, I loved Pippen too. I thought Pippen was the man. I wasn't a Bulls fan, but I saw Scottie Pippen on TV every week as a kid. And so when he went to the Blazers, I was like,
Hmm.
oh, Scottie. I love Scottie.
I know that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing, and he was still really good. I mean, he was doing all the things that you still want from him. Maybe not at the elitist level, but he could do so many different things for a basketball team. He's kind of playing point guard as a point forward. He's still playing pretty good defense. It was just really fun to watch. And those battles with Kobe, with the young Kobe, they were super inspiring. Sabonis could kind of hold up against Shaq. Obviously, Shaq was a monster, but he was big enough where they could at least bang bodies. And it was like Shaq had so many highlights every single game of just dunking somebody through the rim. And Sabonis, that would happen to him like maybe once or twice a game, but it wasn't like, oh God, Shaq's just gonna kill him again.
Right. It
So
wasn't like it wasn't like demoralizing for him. Yeah.
no, and Sabonis would
No.
get him back with like an incredible behind the back pass or an incredible just nifty play that you go, okay, this is a good matchup. Um, so yeah, it was really that team that got me following them, and then obviously they kind of went downhill a little bit with like the Jailblazer era a little bit, but I remember being the kid that would check the box score in the newspaper every day to see how Zach Randolph was doing when he was starting to come on for the Blazers.
Yeah.
And I was the kid in middle school explaining to my friends how he was going to be the most improved player. Like he's going to win most improved player. He's going to win this. His stats are so good. And they go, that's not the cool award. I go, yeah, but he's going to win it. Like that's
Yeah.
important. You should know that. And they're like, don't care. And so I was like really in on Zebo's development. And obviously like I had a sense of pride. I'd seen him play at a summer rookie league. I think when the Jazz used to do their version of it, it was like a much more romantic setting, like very
Right.
low key kind of thing. And I saw him there, and he was killing people in summer league. So I kind of was in on him there, and I started tracking him. But yeah, I mean, ever since then, I just really started following them and trying to keep tabs on it. Obviously, I was a kid growing up in Montana, so I didn't have immediate access to them. They weren't on TV here. This was well, maybe League Pass exists. I don't know when League Pass started, but you couldn't really watch them. So it'd be turning on Sports Center and trying to find highlights. I'm
In
like,
in
oh,
in,
I
in
hope there's a
Montana
Blazers highlight.
in Montana is that try claimed by like the Jazz? Like who do you guys get local NBA on TV out there at all, or is it just or
Nope,
like
just the national stuff.
like or do you get like altitude or whatever the cable packages that have?
Yeah, altitude, whatever that was. It's been different things over the years, but whatever that was, you'd get that. So you'd get some regional stuff there. So you get some Nuggets, some
Right. Oh yeah,
Jazz.
Nuggets, yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't really like if you're trying to track one team throughout the course of a season, you weren't really going to be able to do that. You just get the national stuff. So you get the ESPNs, TNTs, which is like, those are still pretty good games, but it's a buckshot of all the teams. It's not your team. You're not really building an allegiance to a single team.
So when you came out to the Oregonian, were you just like Jack that you could go to a ton of Blazers games? Like, did you go to a ton of? I know we worked at the newspaper. We weren't making any money to be affording to go to Blazers games, but like did how cool was that for somebody to like live in the city finally of like the team that you enjoy?
Yeah. It was cool. It was cool going to bars and being able to have that conversation.
Yeah,
Just
right.
just ready for like ready to be sitting amongst people that had knowledge that's either like rivals yours or they know some other obscure stuff about the team that you didn't. You're like, oh yeah, this is great. There's other Blazers nerds here. So that part was probably the most fun. I went to a few games, but yeah, I mean, I think our sports schedules at the Oregonian were usually like coinciding with a lot of these things. So it'd be
Yeah.
hard to like build up a friend group that could go do something in an evening time. And then, yeah, the money part was always a kind of a hindrance. But if you went day of, you could typically get like a $20, $30 ticket. So there's a
Yeah.
couple times we did that, which was pretty fun. Um, yeah, I didn't even see anything too incredible. Like I think I saw one of Thomas Robinson had an incredible dunk in one game that made Sports Center and made like the virality rounds on social media for a while. I was in person for that, and that was great. Like it was one of the better sporting atmospheres I'd been a part of because everyone was just losing their minds that he'd caught that. I think it was I can't remember if it was off the backboard and then he dunked it, or if he just like had a breakaway dunk. It was something like that, but it was one of those moments where you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's why you go see it in person. That's incredible.
That's kind of like my same experience because again, I've probably been to like 10, 15 Blazers games or so, and most of them aren't memorable, but two of them, one of them, Blake Griffin hit a three at the buzzer for a winner. Clippers beat the Blazers, which was kind of cool. But then the other one was that dunk that LeBron did on Nurkic that like is like in his like main Rolodex of like highlights. We were there for that, and it was just like there's something about like an away stadium when something just like so cool happens, even though it's even to like your team, that like the whole stadium was just like holy shit.
Yeah.
Like we'll remember that one. Like
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. Anyways,
I think that was probably one of my bigger regret while I lived there is not going to one of the like marquee games, like seeing a LeBron or seeing a Kobe or seeing just a Steph. Like I typically we'd get random games. So like I think we saw the Pelicans, we saw the Timberwolves, we saw the Mavericks when they weren't really good anymore, like a little bit past Dirk's prime. And that was still fun. He just wasn't moving as well at the time, but like we didn't go for the big ticket item on the opposing team, which typically did cost more on a ticket
right,
price
for
too.
sure.
But I think I would have liked to do that just to see that kind of atmosphere. And I have gone to other NBA games, in the last 5 years. We've gone down to Phoenix and seen Kevin Durant and I saw Kevin Durant in two different, very different atmospheres, watching him play like a really bad Pistons team, which was like entertaining in itself because he's to get himself up for that game, he's just shit talking everybody.
Yeah.
He's shit talking, and we sat behind the Pistons bench because again, it's the Pistons, so the tickets were cheaper. But he's staring at Monty Williams, who previously coached the Suns and was now coming back as the Pistons coach, and he's just staring at Monty holding the ball, dribbling, and shit talking him the whole time. Like, you're not gonna double me. Like he's screaming at him and berating him for not playing a different type of defense. And you're sitting here going, this is just what this guy does. And you see it all the time. If you go and scroll any social media right now, you'll find a Kevin Durant shit talking clip. But watching it
Yeah.
in person, so funny because you're like, God, it's just audacious. Like he's unrelenting with the talk and he backs it up, I don't know, 95% of the time. So that's kind of an amazing sight. And I don't even know how he's going to be regarded in his career as like trash talk goes. He's probably one of the better trash talkers right now. But like if you think about all the stories you hear about like Larry Bird's trash talk, imagine
Yeah.
seeing that in person and hearing that kind of chirp over the course of a game. Like I could only imagine what that would sound like in Boston in the 80s because there's so many stories about it now.
Consider some of those like pandemic bubble games. Like, I wish they would have had those
Mm,
just like fully mic'd up. That would have been so cool.
yeah, crystal clear audio.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like to your point of like seeing when like superstars come to the city, like I need to go to like every Spurs game that comes through Portland. Like
Yeah.
when like that's again, I've been pretty busy with college basketball so far, or sorry, college football this fall, so I haven't like fully dived into NBA yet. But like the thing that I see the most, more than anything, just scrolling through my X or Blue Sky feed is just like Wemby like doing things on like three ends of the court, like back to back to back, and just like dominating games. Or I was watching like him and like Durant go at each other. Like it's just so fun to watch, and it's so different that like I feel like that's outside of like when LeBron and Steph would come to town. Like that's kind of like the
Yeah.
new like you got to go see this guy like when he's here.
Totally. Totally. He made Kevin Durant look small.
Yeah, which is insane.
It just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, he does. He'll give you for sure get a highlight every Spurs game just watching Wembanyama, and he'll probably give you 5 to 10 of them. Like it's just he's a human highlight machine. It's not maybe not like the traditional highlight in all the senses, but he'll do something you've never seen before, and he'll do it multiple times a game. Where you're like, oh, that's possible at that height. Well, I didn't know that. Okay.
I do think some of like the posterizes things are funny because like he has to jump like an inch. Um, but
Yeah.
the thing that like baffles me with him is like so many of his blocks or altered shots are like when his body's not in position at all to be doing it, but like he's so limber and like flexible that like he has so many where like he's been beaten on the play, but because he's got 30 feet long arms, he's able to like still like Gumby them back there. And like it's such a fascinating thing. It's going to be so fascinating to watch once they get into competitive games and like potentially in the playoffs, like how that guy can just like dominate a 7 game series, you know?
Yeah, the Spurs Rocket matchup this season, I think was last week maybe. That was so compelling because the Rockets just are a huge team themselves. They're I think they're the biggest starting lineup in the NBA, and they really couldn't figure out what they're gonna do with this Wemby lineup. Like they played okay, but you could see that the Spurs had a dedicated plan to funnel everything into Wemby, and even the most monstrous team in the Rockets was like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
go in there.
yeah.
I'm not
We
sure.
don't want that. Yeah.
So that'll affect literally every single team in the NBA. I think the next good matchup to see like if anyone could figure out the Spurs from a attacking their defense standpoint, I think it'd be interesting to see how Jokic does it. Because he's really good at using his body to negate a lot of size disadvantages or
Right.
athleticism disadvantages. So seeing how he attacks Wemby, I think would be super compelling. And if there's one player in the NBA that could do it, I think it's him. Plus, they just run their offense so well. So if Jokic can occupy Wemby, you're going to see him throwing lobs to Aaron Gordon the entire game, and that might be enough.
Okay, so how excited are we are for NBA Cup action tonight? Like this is what we've been waiting for, right?
This is it. This is I just saw on uh Damian Lillard's social media that he has a championship ring from the NBA Cup win with the Bucks. And he was promoting. I don't know if the NBA throws those out or if the Bucks are like, fuck it, we're making rings. But they had a championship ring. I'm like, I thought it was an AI generated video. I was like, oh, this is like the ring they would have made if they won a championship with the Bucks. Like, no, this is the NBA Cup ring. Oh, okay, cool.
The
Dame's
uh
got that.
the Bucks are trying to get their money's worth out of that contract. uh
It'll be a fun matchup. Blazers Rockets will be a fun one because the
okay.
Rockets are a really impressive team. There was a stat, I forget the guy's name. He posted it yesterday on X. The Rockets are like by far the most incredible offensive rebounding team of all time. Like they're just
Hmm.
in a world of their own, which is like that as a stat, you're like, oh yeah, they're a huge team. They're a good offensive rebounding. It also means they're missing quite a bit where they're
Oh, a
getting more
lot of
offensive
shots, yeah.
rebounds.
Yeah.
So some of the efficiency things conclusions you could draw from that are not great. But yeah, if the Blazers could pull that off, they'd be 2-0 in their cup standings, and they'd have a really good chance to advance to the actual knockout round. It's a tough group. It's a really tough group. It doesn't get
It's
easier after the Rockets either.
it's so funny having covered soccer where like they play the MLS season, but then they have like two different cups that they're playing for like within the year. There's like the US Open Cup and the Leagues Cup. And so at the start of the year, the coaches will be like, like our goal is to win a cup this year. It doesn't matter like which one it comes. Like I'm
One
just
of
like
three.
I'm just imagining the day that the NBA devolves into like, like we didn't win the NBA title, but we did get, like Lillard, we got our NBA Cup rings. Like it was a successful season.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna like see people flashing rings. And you have to like really look at their ring and see that that's when
Got
is
tattoos.
NBA.
Like when people get like the tattoo before they win the title and then they have to like exit out because they didn't win it. Like it's gonna get to a point where there's like NBA Cup titles that like didn't actually come to fruition on somebody's arm.
Okay, we've got 5 minutes. So
Okay.
I want to go into our favorite segment, which is Let's Get Weird.
Okay.
But this time with Let's Get Weird, we're gonna rapid fire it. So we
Okay.
need you on your toes. I don't know if you need to like get a quick espresso shot or something, but be ready to freaking go.
Okay.
We're gonna rapid fire. Let's get weird questions. These are typically not Blazers related. I will spoil it. There are at least a few Blazers questions in this pack this time.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get weird. Your minute, we're gonna say minute, is starting now. If the Blazers were a Thanksgiving dish, they would be.
Cranberry sauce.
You get to name a new Deschutes brewing beer. What's the name?
Um the Big River Red.
If Rip City had an official smell, what would it be?
Pine.
What is your most unathletic injury of all time?
Oh man. Like where can we start? Well, I mean, like I dislocated my shoulder this summer playing hockey, but like it wasn't cool at all. Like I just tripped over the blue line and like careened into the boards. But like that's still playing a sport. Um, I've gotten like a few bloody noses from my dog, like wrestling around and yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, if you had to be sponsored by a completely random brand, who's that sponsor on your jersey?
I want a big ass Nintendo patch.
That's like very Mariners of you.
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah.
If your brain had tabs open like a browser, what's the weirdest tab that's always there?
Like 2008 F1 results.
Okay. We're gonna revisit some of these after the fact.
Yeah.
You have to pick a fictional character as your real life roommate. Who are you rooming with?
So this isn't a fictional character who like resembles my current real life roommate. Like I'm not gonna get in trouble. Like, fictional
Use your
character. It's gonna be Coach Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
Okay. Okay, this next question is just bear with me. 6, 7 question mark.
8, 9, 10.
Nice. The correct answer was also no or pass.
Yeah.
What's the pettiest hill you will absolutely die on?
The pettiest hill, that Alex Rodriguez is a money-hungry piece of whatever, and he's the only player to ever desert his team for $256 million. Everyone else plays for the love of the game, and A-Rod is a fraud.
Awesome. Great. This will not come back to bite you in our future NBA endeavors whatsoever.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Next question, also a quick banger. Italians?
Italians.
Perfect. Last question. Are the Ducks winning a national championship this year?
In what sport?
Okay, that's spoken like a true professional. I appreciate the objectivity. Let's say any sport.
So we'll probably get some sort of track and field one, you know. Football, the team is good enough to beat anybody in the country if things are going right, but they're so inconsistent that I can't imagine that they win, because they're going to have to win out, I think, to make the playoff, and then you're going to have to win 3 playoff games. I don't see 5 wins in a row against quality opponents from them.
Okay, that was longer than a minute, but that is our Let's Get Weird segment. Thank you, Tyson, for playing.
Apparently, I'm not good at thinking on my feet. None of those were good answers, Eric. Like the Big River Red, there's not even a big river in Oregon.
What are you talking about? There's just plenty of rivers.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they all have names. Like I could have picked and like.
Oh, I see. Not the actual name. No, you're just going like sizing. It's like very traditional.
The sweet and sandy. It's like a shandy, but it's sweet and sandy.
Shandy, nice. Yeah, banger.
Yeah. There we go, banger.
Okay, we're gonna run out of.
I feel like the Blazers would be more of like a must or a musk. You know, pine.
Smell?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like patchouli or something.
Yeah, actually, that'd be good. Hey, well, thanks for having me on. This was lovely.
This is great. I can't wait to. I don't know, talk about Ducks. I guess I don't know what I'm gonna provide to that podcast eventually, but I'll try my best.
No, I mean, no, we'll have you on there, and we'll have you just like moonlight a little Trojan horse, a little Blazers content into our very green and yellow Ducksverse. So
microdose some Blazers.
Exactly.
We'll get them. All right, Tyson. Peace. Wrapping it up. Thanks for coming on, man.
Bye.